Hello everyone and welcome back to the Welcome to Long-Term Care YouTube channel. My name is Bilquis. I am an RN and Certified Director of Nursing and Administration in Long-Term Care. If this is your first time tuning into my channel, I want to say thank you and welcome. I hope you find this video and all my other videos educational so that you can improve yourselves and your facilities. Today I wanted to talk about the role in a day in the life of the DON. Okay, what all as a DON, how do you start your day? How do you end your day? Okay, so the role of the DON can be very overwhelming. Okay, especially if this is new for you and you have like no type of resource, not a good networking. Okay, so a couple things to think about. Okay, for one, as a DON, you are responsible for the day-to-day operations of that nursing department. Okay, not only that, you also serve as the second in command when your administrator isn't there. All right, so when your administrator isn't there, then you're responsible to oversee everything. Okay, so it's important that you have very good leadership skills and communication skills. You're responsible for the interviewing, hiring, termination, and disciplines, okay? And like I said, the leadership, okay? When you're in this position, you have to have impeccable leadership skills, okay? Not only that, you have to be able to adapt, all right? You have to be able to set the tone in your facility. You have to understand and learn how to grow your team, okay? And more importantly, you have to learn how to be a resource for your staff. Okay, so when you're in this role, you carry a lot of responsibilities. Okay, your staff is going to come to you constantly trying to get information. Okay, so you need to constantly learn. Okay, the best way for you to grow in your position is to constantly learn. All right, and learning from people who have done it from a skill level as well as reading. Okay, continuously learning every day. All right, give yourself goals that you're going to learn a new policy or a new regulation. Okay, staff appreciation. Okay, you're responsible for that. You want to make sure that all the staff that you have, that you keep them if they're appropriate. Okay, now there's going to be times where you're going to have to let people go because they don't share the same vision as you, and that's okay. But you need people on your team who have that same vision, okay? Because how successful you are depends on what type of team you have, all right? Because it's collectively, all right? If you're the only one doing all the work, then you're not going to be successful, because when you're not in the facility, who's going to carry out those objectives, all right? Networking, like I said earlier, is major in the role of Director of Nursing. Okay, and that was the reason why I started my company last year, Welcome to Long-Term Care, because I was a new DON years ago, and when I took my first DON position, I didn't have a resource. Okay, I had my consultant come in and went over a report that I had to gift to her every week, and that was it. And I was off on my own, okay? There was no weeks of orientation, there was no resource finder for me. There was me, who had been a unit manager for years prior, and thankfully I had an administrator who who told me one day I was going to be a DON. All right, and I've always aspired to be a DON anyway, so I was kind of preparing myself for that role. However, when I got in that seat, baby, let me tell you, I didn't know the amount of responsibilities that I was going to have, and that's why I say network is key. And growing your team is crucial, okay? So that when you aren't there, somebody can slide in your seat and do what you can do, okay? Don't look at it as someone trying to take your place. Look at it as that you want to develop and grow your team so that your systems can consistently work as if you were still in the building, okay? That's gonna take time, all right? But networking is going to be very important for you. Okay, so whether you be having a coach or a mentor. Now you have a consultant that will come into your facility, like a lot of corporations, they have consultants, right? that consultant is going to come in and tell you what it is that you're doing wrong, right? Or what areas you need to improve. That's it, right? And you have that homework that you have to give back to them. My clients, when they sign up with me, is you can call me and you'll say, oh, Bilquis, this happened today and I just don't know what I'm doing. And if you should know by now, we're always going to start with your policy because everybody's policy is different. From there, my role as your coach is to have you start thinking, okay, and identifying root causes, and we walk through that process together. Okay, so I have people who I network on all different levels. All right, I have someone who's a guru on the IT side. I have someone who's a guru in the RNAC world. I have legal nurse consultants that I talk to often to find out what is going on in the nursing world with nursing licenses. So you have to build that network. And not saying that you can't have somebody on the same level as you, but you don't want somebody on the same, you can use that person just for like chit chat, but you want somebody who has more knowledge than you that can help you thrive in your role, okay? So get involved with networking, all right? Ask for help, especially if you're a new DON. We don't want you to get in these positions, get frustrated, and quit. We want you to be successful, all right? You're not gonna know all the answers, and that's okay. But when you don't know the answer, you have to reach out for help, okay? In order for you to be successful also, you have to delegate, all right? You have to know those 5 rights of delegation, all right? That's how you're going to be successful, because I'm going to teach you not to be busy, but we're going to produce. We produce outcomes. And how do we do that? By properly delegating, all right? Because we want to be productive. We don't want to just be busy. Okay, yes, our days are busy, but we want to, at the end of the day, we want to show what we produced, okay? So how do you start your day, okay? When you come into your facility, how do you start your day? All right, so generally for me, when I would come in, I would automatically check my staffing. Check my staffing sheet, make sure my PPD was up to date, okay? Making sure if I had any call outs that my staffer knew how to knew how to get people in. The other thing is you want to arrive to work early, okay? If you know your meeting starts at 8:30, don't come to work at 8:30. You need to get there early, all right? Because you need to know what type of day you're going to have. The only way you can do that is by getting in and being ahead of the game, okay? You already know. Department of Health, they pop up, between 8:30 and 9. So you need to get there at least by 7:30, okay? So that you can get around in, all right? You're going to, like I said, check your staffing. Round. What did you find in your rounding? Okay, you're going to be putting that on your rounding follow-up, all right? Check your emails, of course, because corporate, right? They send us emails and, you need to respond, all right? And I'm telling you, I used to get in trouble all the time when people would be like, oh, I emailed you. I hated checking my email. Not that I hated, but I felt like I had better things to do than check my email, all right? So take it from me, check your emails. Read your 24 or 72-hour report, okay? And then document anything that you need to follow up on, okay, on your follow-up tool. Review your incidents and accidents, and again, document your findings. What is it that you need to follow up on? Then you have your morning meeting. Now, I would have all of this done before I went to my morning meeting. So when I went to that morning meeting, I already knew what needed to be done, all right? I knew what needed to be followed up on. I knew what the managers needed to do, okay? But I still have my morning clinical. So from after our morning stand-up meeting, with your IDT departments, then you will have your morning clinical, all right? And this meeting must be interactive, guys. I can't stress it enough. It can't just be you as a DON doing all the reading, all the talking, all the scribing. No. Social work, RNAC, therapy, your unit managers, your infection prevention, all of those people, okay? And I say that because everybody brings different expertise to that meeting, okay? Someone else is going to see and identify an area that you're not. All right. So make sure you know, have a plan in place when you go to that morning meeting. Don't just get to morning meeting and say, all right, let's pull up this 24-hour report and read through. No, because say if something was in that 24-hour report and it was urgent, but nobody notified you. All right. So you need to always be ahead of the game. Okay. Preparation is the key to positive outcomes. All right. And there's nothing more frustrating than you reading in your report while you're in that morning clinical and realizing that you had a resident to resident, nobody notified you. And you know that that's a damn reportable. Okay? So that's what I mean. Getting in early, knowing what needs to be followed up immediately. Okay, what about the medications that wasn't administered? All right, med not available. All right, so if you see that, you know, when you come in, you go check that med card and just say, hey, did so-and-so meds come here? And find out what was the process, what was the breakdown? How come the manager didn't know that that medication wasn't there? All right, that's what I mean about being prepared and being ahead of the game. After your morning meeting, I'm sorry, I jumped here, but after your morning meeting, you're going to do your staff meeting. Okay, and that means that you're going to be meeting with your staff coordinator. All right, and you're going to look at that schedule. And you're going to see where those holes are and what is it that you need to do to get those holes filled. And that means you're going to have to be working with your administrator. Why? Because holes mean you need money. You need money for either agency or you need money for a bonus. But what we need to get out of and standing firm is, as DONs, just because there's a hole in the schedule don't mean you are going to keep filling holes, okay? You weren't hired to fill holes. You were hired to be a DON. Okay, so that means you working with that administrator to make sure, because guess what, when you have to keep working that floor, your work doesn't get done, okay? So your administrator and your staff developer need to come up, your staff coordinator need to come up with a plan so that you can function in your role. All right, the days of us working 80 hours a week are over, all right? We need to start functioning in our roles. All right, so whatever it is that you have to have that conversation with your administrator, and I suggest you do so, okay? Because you can't be mandated to have to work 40 hours a week in your role and then have to still fill all those holes on the schedule. No. So what I like to do is was always focused on the weekend when it came to my schedule. So on that Wednesday, I would automatically know what I had open for that weekend, all right? You can't bring me a schedule and say, Bilquis, we have 10 holes for the weekend on a Friday. Absolutely not. I need that by Wednesday because I need to be talking to the administrator and say, listen, I need bonuses or I need agency, okay? So that's the kind of communication that you need to have, all right? We need to have the staff in the building to take care of the residents. And then after that, then you have your clinical, okay? And when you're in that clinical meeting, make sure you write down all the follow-up that is needed, okay? And then this way you can distribute it to your managers or whatever, okay? Other areas that you have other responsibilities. You have evals that you might have to do, pharmacy recommendations, wound weight and fall meetings, wound rounds, your care conferences, your Medicare meetings, and your reportable events, okay? Grievances should be talked about during your morning meeting, okay? So anybody who had a grievance, your social worker will say, oh, Bilquis, so-and-so had a grievance, and it might be nursing related, okay? If it's nursing related, then you know that you need to address it, okay? Again, if you have any care issues related to that grievance, you want to make sure you do a thorough investigation. Okay, you always want to do a thorough investigation anytime you have any care issues on a concern form. All right. Call outs. All right, so say it's 3 o'clock and then you have a call out, for your 11 to 7. All right, get your staff coordinator to be working on that right away. Okay. And then it's important to have an on-call rotation for you and your team, okay, so that you're not the only one picking up all of the time, all right? So basically, in a nutshell, what I want you to learn, for one, is that you need to grow your team. All right, how successful you are determines, it depends on what type of team you have. All right, build up your network. Okay, build up your network, guys. Reach out to people who have more knowledge, more experience, so that they can help you grow and develop into your role. I promise you, we do not want you to get into these roles and fail. We want you to be successful, okay? In order to do that, you have to network, all right? You're not gonna know all of the information. Nobody knows all of the answers, all right? Things change like this, all right? I have clients calling me from the West Coast saying they're seeing these type of citations that I haven't seen on the East Coast. So networking, okay? Legal nurse consultants telling me, oh, so-and-so, did you hear about this? They lost their license for this. What? Networking, okay? Networking, guys, all right? I can't stress it enough. Prioritization, okay? Prioritize your priorities, not your day. Know what has to be done immediately, all right? If you're constantly being interrupted all day on the phone, you tell your receptionist, hold on my calls and take messages, all right? You cannot constantly be on the phone talking to every family that calls in with a concern, or every pharmacy rep, or every person who wants to sell you a new piece of equipment. You can't, all right? So you tell your receptionist, take calls and only call you for emergencies, such as Department of Health, okay? Such as your consultant saying, Bilquis, I keep calling and calling, I can't get you. Something like that. Other than that, learn how to, they need to screen your calls like you were the president, okay? And I mean that, because you have to produce, all right? That all those phone calls, if it's not related to patient care or something like that, it can wait, all right? Remember your 5 rights of delegation, okay? And again, that's going to be a key part in you being able to produce what you need to produce, okay? And at the end of the day, make sure you have your stand down clinical meeting, okay? Make sure you have your stand down clinical meeting, because everything that you put out on day shift, all your findings from your rounds, all your findings from your morning clinical, you want to make sure that you can tie it in at the end of the day and it be complete. And then if it's not complete, identify what is going to be the plan for it to be completed. Okay, so that is just my tip for today. A day in the life of the role of the DON. My DONs, please reach out, start networking, all right? If you need help, definitely reach out to me. You can enroll in my leadership program that I offer, my Celebrate Prep course that I offer, and just in general overall coaching. All right, so again, guys, my name is Bilquis Ali. If you like this video, please like, comment, subscribe, and ring the bell so that you can be notified every time I put information out. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you soon.